Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros. I hope that you find yourself well on this Monday. We are just starting off the week, and I want to share with you something that I had in mind since yesterday. And it's this: people today, more than ever, people are having mental problems. This is a serious situation. I didn't realize the magnitude, just how many people out there, wow, I mean, so many people that are struggling mentally. And I think that one of the biggest factors to people having mental breakdowns and problems, it is the financial struggle that we are witnessing, specifically right now in the United States. I know that in other countries it's terrible out there, but right now I'm talking about here in this country, in the United States of America. Wow, so many people are struggling financially, and a lot of times, people know how to hide it. But statistics don't lie. It's just too many people. And one of the problems, I know that a lot of people say the economy, and yes, prices have gone up. I am aware of that, as I'm sure that you are. If you are listening to this, I know prices have gone up, gas. There's a lot of things that have affected our economy. But one of the things that I've noticed is we, a lot of times, live above our means. And when you do that, that's going to cause financial problems. And it's tough. It's tough because a lot of times, we want to get things. Sometimes we can be, very emotional when it comes to, what we invest in. Me, for example, I like nice sneakers. I really do. I like the J's, the Jordans. But I know better. I know that if I don't need a pair of shoes, then I'm not going to get them. I work with a budget these days, thanks to my amazing, beautiful wife. Love you, if you're also listening to this. But the thing is, thanks to her, I have learned to be disciplined and be organized in the area of the finances. So things are getting better, and I'm very thankful to God for that. But again, we tend to be emotional, and we want things. You see the ads, you see the commercials, you walk into a store, and a lot of times you want to get those nice pair of shoes. Maybe you want to get that nice purse if you're a girl, right? But we just have to be cautious. We have to be more careful. It's my personal advice, to you, if you're listening to this. If you're living above your means, it may be one of the reasons why you're, so tight right now. And there's just adjustments that have to be made. Just like I had to make adjustments in that area of my life. And when you do that, you're going to have some mental peace. Now, the truth is, the answer to this problem, it goes beyond money. Money can pay your bills. It can solve a lot of things, bill related, You can be debt free. But ultimately, and this is me speaking from my own experience, I get peace from my relationship with God. That's where my peace comes. And of course, yes, when we have had those financial struggles, of course, even with a relationship with God, yeah, you're gonna be bothered mentally, of course. No one wants to be in that position. No one wants to be in that kind of position, always struggling constantly. But ultimately, what has given me peace these days has been just having a personal relationship with God, putting God first, starting off my day with prayer. And I have learned through my relationship with God, I have learned to trust Him through the tough moments. And that has really helped me. So that's why I say, if you're going through a financial struggle right now, if you're having, mental struggles, you feel like you're going to lose it, my advice is turn to God. Start praying. When you get up, that's the first thing you want to do. That's the first step to solving this problem. And as I mentioned, I would strongly advise to start making adjustments. I know that there's situations that are just completely out of your control. I can understand that because I have had to go through that. There are things that happen that are just out of your control. I get it. I totally get that. I know that feeling. I know what it's like. But again, if you find yourself in that situation, we have to stop living above our means. There's decisions that have to be made. We have to be wiser with how we invest, with how we spend. We just have to be wiser. We got to do better. And there are tools, there's information, there are ways of doing it, but we have to just, cut back and stop living above our means. Sometimes, we buy something and we don't even need it. I remember some time ago, I was thinking about going shopping, and I had gotten already a fresh pair of sneakers. I had gotten already, my clothes and a nice little outfit, to wear. But that day I remember thinking, I should go, to the mall. And then I just stopped myself and I said, why are you going to go to the mall? What do you need from the mall? You got yourself a fresh pair of kicks, sneakers. You got yourself, a nice little outfit. And I had, the resources, to buy it. But I said, why don't you just save it? Why don't you just save it? I mean, do you really need to buy something else? No. You've been blessed. You got some clothes. You got some sneakers. Do you really need to go to the mall and spend money? So, I mean, that day, that was, kind of like, for me, it was just a moment where I just had to really think and say, hey, you don't need that. So, I mean, that's just my advice, is sometimes we buy things we don't even need. If you need something and you have the resources, okay, get it, what you need. But sometimes, these wants, you gotta also question your motive. Why do you want to buy that you don't need? And there's nothing wrong with buying something that you want. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but there's a time for that. And sometimes our timing is just not good. If right now we are in a current situation where things are tight, you don't need to do that right now. What you want to do is you want to make adjustments. And then later on, when you have, the resources, then you can get that you want. Maybe it's, whatever it is that you want to get. But that's just my advice, because I'm seeing it more than ever, and I'm sure that you're aware of it. Too many people are struggling financially. I don't know if that probably may be the biggest issue right now. There's other issues too. There's other things going on, but that is one of them that has affected people's mental health today. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this, I am no financial guru. I'm just speaking based on my experience, what has helped me to get better in that area of my life, and it has been to have self-control. Have self-control with your spending, be disciplined, start to pay attention, where your money is going. And the other thing is, take self-control of your nutrition. That's one of the things also that has really helped me. I mean, it is incredible how much focus I have now, because I've been able, to take control of what I'm eating, what I'm putting in my body. It's just incredible, because it really helps me in my fitness journey. So I advise you to do that, take control of your nutrition, start taking control of your finances. Don't spend don't spend on something that you don't need. And I'm sure that things are going to start to get better. And above all, put God first. If this has been going on for too long in your life, I strongly advise you, put God first. Start praying every day when you first get up in the morning. And as time goes on, like I have witnessed today, you're going to see the breakthrough. You're going to see improvement. But remember, all of these things take time. So I hope that if you are struggling out there, that things will get better for you. And, just start taking control. Start, we have to do better. We got to make better decisions in these areas of our life. And I hope that you get better, here. Any of you that are struggling mentally, like I told you, seek the Lord first. That's the answer. That is the answer to all of these problems right now that are going on, especially with the mental struggle. A lot of people that are struggling with this, seek the Lord first, and you're going to see how God will help you, how you're going to start to find mental peace. Even in the midst of all the struggles, you're going to start to find mental peace. You're going to start to find the solutions, strategies, and just ways to be able to improve in your life. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have a very blessed evening. As always, be careful with what you put in your body. Take control of your nutrition. Make time to go to the gym. Get proper rest. Have a very, very blessed evening. And I'll be seeing you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.